are moments that break your life into two, one before, and then after that you didn't ask for. Mine arrived without warning. In a room I knew by heart. Between walls that had heard my laughter and my vows. My most loyal silences. He sat in front of me with the expression of the one who has already taken. I knew every line of his face, every gesture. And yet, I didn't see it coming. His words were not cruel. They were worse. Were empty. As if he had gotten rid of something. As if that were me, he asked me for a divorce. With the voice of an angel, not that of a husband. He didn't even say my name, just the word divorce. The first thing I felt was not sadness, it was shame. Because at that instant, I understood that everyone knew it before I did. The murmurs, the deviated looks, the evasions. Everyone knew. Except me. The last to know. The first to lose everything. I didn't cry, not there. Not in front of them. My whole body turned to stone, while my soul melted like water. I thought about the times I defended it, even when it should not, and the times I shut up that I understood, that I was what the Empire expected from me, perfect. But not enough. If this story already touched anything in you, support it with a like. This is not just a story. It's an open wound that deserves to be heard. That day, I don't understand only my marriage. That day, I understand the lie. And something was born that even I still didn't understand. The woman who would no longer kneel. I remained silent, while his voice continued to speak of formalities, of discretion, that it was the best thing for the Empire. I just breathed in my breath, in how not to allow myself to break. Wanted to paint, but the scream got stuck in my throat. Because not only was I ending a relationship, they were stealing my dignity with words wrapped in courtesy. I looked him in the eyes and saw no guilt. I didn't see love, I saw relief. As if I had waited for that moment for years. As if he could finally be free of me. And then I understood. It wasn't me, the problem was my place, my title. My presence. My history with him was a hindrance I wanted to erase. In some corner of the room, someone sighed. As if everything had already been said, as if I had no right to a reply. I took a deep breath, and instead of begging, I decided to do what they never imagined I would do. I said I did accept the divorce, not by submission, but out of pride, because I would not beg for what should be mine. For love. At that moment, I felt that I was losing everything, but I also knew, for the first time in my life, that what would come would be mine. Mine, not from them, not from the palace, not from my throne. The days that followed were silent. No one talked to me directly. It was all through letters from servants, of indirect instructions. I, who had been the center of the receptions, the voice of decrees, the most admired figure in the palace, I became a decorative ghost. Passed through the corridors, and talks stopped. Bowing was colder. The looks most laden with pity or was no longer the empress, was the woman left behind, but I was not destroyed. Not as they expected, not as he imagined. Because something inside me, something I had slept for years, they began to awaken, was the awareness of my value, of what he had delivered, of what he had resisted. I didn't need to remind anyone. Only to me. I started walking upright to look straight ahead, to respond calmly, even though my blood was boiling inside, because I understood that every step I took, each word I chose, I was sculpting the new story of my life. And if they were going to watch me, they would. Seeing a woman who did not break, but no one knew that in secret. I was already planning something bigger. Something they could not foresee. Had learned something. When everyone gives up on you, it's the perfect time to get up without making noise. Did not want revenge, wanted freedom. And for that, I needed to do the unthinkable. Needed to stop being his wife. To become mine again. I accepted each meeting, each document, each decision with a serenity that embodied, because it was not their mission, was strategy. I knew that the calmer he would show me, less attention would awaken my true intentions. I wasn't going to beg him, nor was I going to beg him. I was going to take my dignity, pack it with the rest of my dresses, and go out. But not just any old one, not like the abandoned, but as one who decides to withdraw before it is removed. And while he sank into his new illusion, I was preparing the ground for my resurrection. Because no one understands freedom better than he who has lived in a golden cage, and no one appreciates more hope than the one who has felt the edge of. My heart was not intact, but he was not dead. I was just waiting for his moment. One morning before sunrise, I looked for the last time at the portrait hanging in the great hall. There we were, the two smiling fake blind people. I didn't break the picture, I didn't scream, I just looked at it. And I understood that this image was not a memory. It was a mistake. I no longer wanted to belong to the past. Did not want to be remembered as the woman they left behind, but as the woman who did not stop. I took air, I walked without noise, and inside I said goodbye to every corner that I once called home. I did not say goodbye out loud, because my soul had said goodbye long before. My destiny was no longer there. My future no longer depended on a throne or a surname. I had been stripped of a title, but not my story. I had been removed from power, but not from my essence. And if life offered me a blank page, then I myself would write my new empire. When everything is broken, there is still a choice: pick up the pieces, or merge them into something new. I chose the second thing. I could have stayed. Could have been a shadow in the corridors, a forgotten present. But I was not born to fade. I was born to get up. So I did. I said yes to divorce and asked permission to remarry. I did it with a firm voice, with my eyes held high, with the heart beating like a drum. All remained silent, including him, because they didn't expect me to have a plan. They did not expect me to have a proposal. They did not expect another emperor to love me. But above all, they did not expect me to love myself, so much as to start over. If you like this story, if it touched something in you, subscribe. Like us. Because you are not watching just any story, you are witnessing the birth of a new woman. One who did not ask permission to be free,